done our body paragraphs, we've done our introduction, we've learned how to do different strategies, and now we're in a conclusion. Every time you write an essay, you're on a relationship, or you're in a relationship, you the writer, the professor is the reader. And now you're ending this experience where the professor is trying to see if you know how to do what the professor has asked you to do. And so you start your conclusion with a reworded thesis, restating the main idea, put it in a different way so that the professor knows that you know it's important to stay on topic even when it's coming to an end. So you reword your thesis. So my thesis statement over here was the internal and external forms of one's identity. Well, now I'm not going to say internal and external forms of one's identity. I'm just going to say a person's autobiographical information or biographical information and their cultural context influences what they say and how they say it. And then I'm going to transition into my closing. So I'm going to say these internal and external factors always shape what a person says and how they say it, as evident in Kate Chopin and William Faulkner's text. And this is the difference between a college level research paper and like other types of research paper. In a research paper, do not summarize. Do not summarize. I don't need a summary of everything you've said in your essay because I've already read it. And if I wanted to see a summary, I can go back to the body paragraphs to get a summary. So somebody say, well, what am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do?
That's a good question. Here's what you're supposed to do. Give the result of the content in your body paragraphs. So what do I mean by give the result? Well, you talked about the way in which internal and external factors influence what a person says and how they say it. What's the result of that? Well, the result is once a person understands his or her internal and external factors, they can make a conscious decision about what they want to say and how they want to say it. Most people, without understanding internal and external factors, usually just put words out there, not knowing how those words became thoughts based on everything that they have been conditioned to communicate based on their internal and external factors. It's crucial for people to understand, especially the internal factors, whether or not their gender is dictating what they say and how they say it. It's crucial for a man to understand that when he speaks, he's speaking from a way that is conditioned. It is crucial for a woman to understand that when she speaks, she's speaking from a way that's conditioned. And when a person understands that reality, they can begin to move beyond the boundaries set forth by a person's internal and external factors, which really represents their authorial voice, as noted in William Faulkner's essay and in Kate Chopin's essay. So what I just did there is I gave this kind of like solution. I gave the result. If you want to make some predictions, what happens in life when a person understands those internal and external dimensions of identity? Or you can solve the issue, like solve it. When a person does understand it, what will be the result of it? And I put on here solve intro issue. So if you started by saying Abraham Lincoln once said something in your introduction, in your conclusion you want to say, when Abraham Lincoln made that statement, Abraham Lincoln didn't know that people 200 years later would still be referencing those concepts, or 100 years later will still be referencing those same concepts to understand their authorial voice. See, these are all things that I'm going back to. Now, you don't always have to go back to the introduction. These are all just strategies. There are 4 different strategies. Provide a solution, make some predictions, give a result, or return to the introduction and solve it. The amount of information here should be equivalent to the amount of information that you put in your introduction. If you can do that, you will have a college level conclusion that is not merely a summary. It is something that stays on track and on content with what you wrote about. And it provides the reader some sense of closing that lets the reader know that you know what you're doing. And because of this video, hopefully you will. Whatever.
We'll edit that.
We'll edit that.